Hey all, this is David Ducker coming back at you, and today I'm going to be talking about dealing with problem players. It's an often requested video. I see a lot of people talking about it. I haven't recorded it sooner because I don't really have very many problems with my players. And that's going to come into my very first point, is the best way to solve a problem is to avoid a problem. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So I have so few problems uh, because I pre-screen these things. Everybody's on the same page from day one. Come into the game and I say, this is what's expected of you. This is what I want to see out of you. This is what I'm going to do. If anybody has a problem with that, speak up right now. Right now. So we set the stage for the genre, for the style of play, and then as everyone makes their character, I pre-screen those too. So I'm like, oh, this character's not going to work. Or, oh, that character is going to work perfect. Or, oh, this character, he's kind of on the fence. What if we did this with him? Oh, now he's perfect. So a lot of these problems are pre-screened right out of there. So that's my first piece of advice. Set expectations. And I think I've got a whole video on setting expectations. Exactly what you need to go through with someone. Just to make sure there are no problems. But let's say they slip by and you do have problems. Excuse me. How do you deal with it? And I see a lot of people, because I've seen this come up in forums, in topics, in conversation. I'll see a lot of people be like, oh, kill his character. Punish his character. And I'm just like, don't do that. That's so childish. That's so passive aggressive. You know, and it hurts the game. Like, if they're hurting the game, the last thing you want to do is hurt the game worse. Deal with it like a mature adult, out of game. Just talk to them about it. Talk to them. That's the first step. If you have a problem with someone, talk to them about it. You know, don't punish their character, because that's only going to hurt the game even worse. It's immature, it's petty, it creates hurt feelings, it destroys the trust of the game, that bond of trust that you need to have to game. So don't do that. Talk to them. Just be like, hey, I noticed that you were power gaming. You know, I made this pretty clear that we're not power gaming this campaign. You know, why are you doing this? How can we get you to stop doing this? You know, just approach them about it, or you know, whatever they're doing. Oh, hey, I noticed that you're planning to betray the party. This is probably not a good time for you to do that. Like, we could work that in to the proper time, but I just want to make sure that if you do move to betray the party, it's like at a big climactic moment. Don't just betray them on Tuesday, just for no reason. Wait until, you know, the Baron's wedding and then stab them in the back. That'll be dramatic and awesome. Just talk to them, you know, pre-plan with them. So that's the first step. So if they're not listening to you, the next step after talking to them is have a more stern talk and downgrade them. Because to me, I have two levels of players in my game. I have advanced players and basic players. I want to have nothing but advanced players. That's my goal. If someone's basic and I know they're a basic player, I don't invite them in. Unless they're new and I'm training them. That's different. But if advanced players, here's the difference. Advanced players have full trust and full free reign. So, oh, you want a custom feat? No problem. You want to play an exotic race? No problem. You want to be evil? No problem. You want to have vast political power? No problem. You know, you say yes to them unless you have a really, really good reason to say no. You want to do a prequel one-shot? You want a monologue? You want to have NPCs you control. You want to, whatever they want to do, find a way to make it work. Because you trust them that they're trying to make the whole game and the whole story better. That's an advanced player. You know, that's what I assume everyone is, because I try to pre-screen them so they are. But let's say they start violating the trust, they become a problem in some way. You downgrade them. You say, okay, you're a basic player now, so you don't get to have, you know, political power with your character. You don't get to have exotic races. You don't get to level up into high-level magic. You don't get to, you know, so many things. You don't get to get these magic items that give you invisibility or disguise self or anything like that. You're basic. So I don't, you know, I'll keep you in the game. I'm going to tell you that you've been downgraded, though. I'm like, okay, all this freedom you've been enjoying, it's getting cut back. You're causing problems. So if you want to get this freedom back, show me that you deserve it. Because I talked to you before, you didn't listen, so now you're downgraded. So any of these, you know, advanced things, the narrative control that you were abusing, you don't get anymore. You know, it's not to say they can't get their hands on it through role playing still, but you know, as a GM, you're going to be cock blocking them. You're going to be railroading them. Everyone else is fine, you know, but that one guy, you got to keep some reins on so he doesn't get the power and ability to break the game, to ruin everyone's fun, because that's what he's been doing. So that's what he gets. And then if he's at that basic level and he's still causing problems, that's when you got to talk to him again and be like, you know, you were power gaming, so we've restricted you from leveling up into Dread Necromancer anymore. So you're on basic, and now you've gone and you're trying to find these magical items, and when you finally got one, you used it for power gaming purposes again, and again it was disruptive. I mean, it's one thing if you're power gaming and you're not disrupting anyone, that's fine. Nope, I won't even notice. But if it's been noticed, it's a problem, likely. So you were restricted, and even on the restrictions, you kept being a problem. So we can't trust you. So you're out of the game. You got to go. You know, and I'll bring this up right in front of everyone. I'll say, okay, everyone, Bill has been disruptive before, and he's being disruptive now. And I warned him about it. I set the expectation, and I tried to restrict him in-game, and I let him know I was doing this too. He's still being disruptive. So I'm not playing with Bill anymore. You can all, if you want, if you think Bill's a better player than me, you can side with Bill, and you can go game somewhere else. I wish you the best of luck. Anyone who would rather game with me than Bill, I'll see you next week. Because I don't like to take dictatorial power as a GM, really, and say, oh, you're gone. I'll just say, I don't want to play with you. So everyone else can make their own decisions about what they want to do, but I'm not playing with you anymore. I'm letting everybody know I'm not playing with you anymore. And they can pick whoever they want to play with that's going to be the most fun for them. So, you know, and I'll do this. This is the exact same thing I do as a player that I do as a GM. So, you know, as a GM, I'll quit the game. As a player, I'll quit the game. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to make anyone else's decision for them. This is like personal, one-on-one. Like, I don't like your play style, so I'm leaving. I want everyone to know what the problem is, and then if they like playing with me better, they can come with me. And if they like playing with you better, they can go with you, and we'll all be happier that way. I haven't made decisions for anyone, so it's all good. Because as a player, if the GM kicked someone out without consulting me, without making this known, I'd be mad. I'd be like, well, you kicked out Bill without telling me, consulting me. Well, that, to me, that's rude. You made a decision for me. I don't like anyone making my decisions for me. You know, so it's really an individual and a group thing at the same time. To me. So that, I mean, that's how I deal with them. I set the expectation, though. To get back on topic, I set the expectation. Then I talk to them if they're defying that. Then I downgrade them if they won't stop defying that. And then I quit gaming with them. And I let everyone else decide whose side they're on. And that's pretty much it. That's how I deal with problem players. Now, for me, if someone is basic, and I know they're basic, I'm not inviting them into my game. So I haven't quit the game. I haven't cut you from the game, however you want to word it. But when we're finished this campaign, I'm not inviting you back. Because you're basic. You're average. I don't want to be average. You know, I call my group the All-Star Squadron. It's kind of a joke, but I want everybody to be a grade A player at my table. I want a grade A game. So anyone of average quality or below, I don't have time for them. I can find somebody else, and they might be better. They might be worse, but that hope that they might be better is worth it. So those are my thoughts on how to deal with problem players. There's a million different ways someone could be a problem. You know, there's wallflowers, there's special snowflakes, there's power gamers, there's meta gamers, there's poor personal hygiene. It could be there's people who crack jokes and talk over the GM and other players. There's people who argue with the GM or try to bully other players. You know, I've seen tons of things. There's someone who's you know, Aaron Kenderson Scott, the Eternal Kender. He's just so chaotic neutral. He just does completely random actions, and he can derail a campaign that way. So there's lots of different ways you can be a problem. But this is the same kind of technique I follow for all of them. I tell them what we're actually going to do. And I talk to them like an adult. I don't try to kill their character. Because sometimes, you know, and I've had to get people out of games before, or I've had them quit because they realized that their stuff wasn't going to fly. But their character's still there. I could salvage that character, you know, because time is money. You've invested 10 hours into this character. You've got to get a payoff out of that. That's a long time. So let's turn him into NPC and find some goodness that can come out of him. You know, otherwise that 10 hours is wasted. You know, check out my video on time is money. It's very important. The longer something is in the game, the better. So you never want to abandon something that you've invested in. You want to try to get a payoff out of it. But that's a little off topic. So that's it. That's my video on problem players. You know, like I said, I've had very, very, very few problems because I set the expectation. You know, I tell them, everyone make a character, get in character, stay in character. That's the most important thing. And then I'll help you make your character so that all your characters get along and they fit in the world and they fit in the story. That's about it. I mean, it's pretty easy, really, if you work as a team, if you think ahead. You know, if you work as a group of individuals, you know, it's like herding cats, and that's why so many GMs have so many problems. But if you really approach it logically, I don't think there's going to be a big problem. And I haven't had any big problems, so the proof is in the pudding. So I'm going to sign out now. Let me know how you deal with problem players. Just even let me know about problem players you've had, or how they dealt with themselves, or how they dealt with you. I'd love to hear the anecdotes. So I'm going to sign out now, though. Everybody have a good day in YouTube land.